Hello, good evening everyone. Am I audible? Okay. Good evening everyone. Am I audible? Please mention in the comment section so that we can start, so that we can proceed with our lecture. Okay. Now let's start the session. So how was the paper? I hope it was on the expected lines, or was it difficult? How was the paper? Okay. Good evening. Okay. Is it clear now, my voice? Okay. So how was the paper? What is your first reaction? You found it conventional or was it on unexpected lines? Good. Okay. So in this session, we are going to discuss briefly about today's paper that has been conducted, which is ethics. So there is a recent change, a little change in the paper. As you all might have checked the paper, moderate. Okay, so you found it moderate. Anybody else? Was it easy, difficult, or moderate? They are changing pattern. The pattern has been changed completely. But was it difficult or easy for you? Or lengthy? Moderate. Okay. It was ethics paper, GS4. You found it moderate. Okay. Chalo, let's start the session now. First, let's try to understand the trends. From where the paper has come, which section was covered. Two questions were from ethics and human interference. In 2025, there were no question from this particular session, but this year they have asked two questions. And then from human values, they asked four questions. Last year, it was only one question. So there is a slight change in the, from the areas where they have asked the questions. But there is a change in the trend with respect to paper as well, which we will discuss in our, later on. There is no question from attitude part. Similarly, aptitude one question, no question from emotional intelligence. There was no question in last year as well. Then there is no question from moral thinkers part as well. Most of the questions were from public service, civil services part. Hello Sandeep. Same here. Happy to see you here. Okay. So one question from ethical issues with respect to international relation that we will see here. No question from probity part. No question from code of conduct. Case studies were from different sections, social issues, public sector, and basically from the recent issues that we will discuss here. One of the case study was from Manipur issue as well. Like it was not directly mentioned about Manipur issue, but it was for with respect to ethical tension between two communities. So we can analyze that that question might have been come from that particular issue that was in the current. Good evening. Okay. So this is a general trend with respect to the questions or from the area where UPSC asked the questions. Now let's see the paper. Let's start with the first question. Is it clear? Is the screen visible? You can read the question. Is the screen visible? Good evening. Okay, so the first question is, owing to paucity of time, the screen is not visible, I think. The questions are not visible. Wait for a minute. So,
सेकंड वाला ऑप्शन अब इसको भी काम कीजिए फाइल में जाइए फाइल क्रोम के बगल में जो फाइल है उधर 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 हाँ डाउनलोड पे जाना है दोबारा से डाउनलोड हाँ ऊपर वाली खोल दीजिए इसे ओपन कर दीजिए इसको ऊपर बढ़ाइए स्क्रॉल कीजिए
okay.
इसको आप जूम कर सकते हो अभी साफ
Okay. Is it clear now? Is it visible? Okay. So the first question is, owing to paucity of time, a university professor generates a PhD evaluation report using artificial intelligence and submits it with some modifications. Discuss this from the perspective of accountability and integrity. Okay. So the question is with respect to artificial intelligence. Okay. The question is with respect to artificial intelligence. I think it is a simple question. You can directly, cover this question. Anybody found this question difficult? Okay. Now is it working? You can see the question now? Okay. So the question is, owing to the paucity of time, a university professor generates a PhD evaluation report using artificial intelligence and submits it with some other modifications. Discuss this from the perspective of accountability and integrity. It is a simple question, a direct question from the applied ethics part. I think this question was easy. Yeah, every question is like a case study. They are giving a context. They are providing a context, and based on that context, you have to give the answer. So this thing has changed in this particular paper. Earlier, they used to ask direct question. They will give you a premises, or then they will ask a question. But this year, they have given a case study, a brief case study, where they have given a brief context, like this is the situation, this person has been doing this, and they are asking a question based on that. So the pattern has changed slightly. Detailed videos will come in a later sessions. This is just a brief, reaction video where we are just going to discuss the, trends or the things that have changed in this particular paper. Good evening. Okay, so I think this particular first question is easy. It's a direct question. It's just that they have changed the pattern. First, they have mentioned the case study, a different a context, and then a direct question from here. It is from the applied ethics. We read about dimensions now. So this particular part is from that particular part of the syllabus. Then next question. A business house is working on a project that could displace a forest community from their habitat. As the administrative officer of that district, what ethical challenges are you like to face? This is also a case study. Similarly, they are asking a case study, a brief case study, and then you have to mention the ethical challenges. So the pattern has changed, but the context is same. Questions are from the syllabus itself. Questions have not changed. It's just that pattern has changed. I think this question is also easy. You can cover this question. Detailed videos will be covered in subsequent days. Team will let you know about the detailed discussion. Okay. Recently, essays video has been covered, so you can watch that video, and other videos will be covered in later days. Okay. So this question is also with respect to the public administration. How a public administrator will, handle the situation. This particular question. Okay. Okay. So the next question is. Okay. So the next question. Question 2, part A. Is it visible? An endangered tribe has developed a sphere skeletal deformity. A university research has identified a mineral supplement as a possible remedy. Though clinical trials are yet to be conducted, should the district magistrate use this research on the tribe? Discuss from the perspective of medical and administrative ethics. This question is also from the applied ethics part. The dimensions of ethics, na? Where we cover applied ethics part. So this question is also from there. Okay. So I think this question is also easy, doable. But the pattern that has changed, which we have discussed already, they are providing a context and then you have to answer the question. Questions are easy. It's just that pattern has changed. They are asking direct questions but giving a context before. So you just have to discuss the, what should the district magistrate should do in that particular situation. But your context should be based on medical and administrative ethics. So your argument should be in that context. I hope this question is also clear. Now the next question. Discuss how national security can be balanced with concerns of human rights. Now this question is in context of what? Recently we have a US and Iran war. So it is a direct question from that context. We are discussing about now, like even if there is a war between Russia and Ukraine where they are killing innocent kids or these things are discussed. So this question is directly from there. How war can impact the human rights as well. So there is a conflict between national security and human rights. Okay, so this question is also a direct question. I hope this question is also clear. A simple question. There is no change in here. So some of the questions they have asked which are direct in nature. Only few questions that are, based on a case study or a context based. But there are also simple questions. War ethics, yes. It is also from the applied ethics part, where we discuss about international relation and war. Okay. I hope this one is also clear. Now let's move to the next question. Third question. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar has questioned that employing civil disobedience with the constitutional democracy equates to endorsing anarchy. अब ये question, if you see this question, what comes to your mind? From what particular incident that has happened in the current? Recently, we have witnessed the protest. So this question is in that context only. Like, students were gathered at the Jantar Mantar and they have done the protest. So same question has been asked from utilizing the B.R. Ambedkar statement. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar had cautioned that employing civil disobedience within constitutional democracy equates to endorsing anarchy. Even in the democracy, if you are doing civil disobedience, that leads to anarchy. Okay? Very good. So, how should modern democracies navigate the ethical dilemma posed by civil disobedience movement that aim to promote social justice against policies that may raise genuine concern? Now, recently we have seen the UGC bill, or there are a number of bills where people have been protesting against the government. So, this question comes from that area. Is it clear? Yes, even Jharkhand protest, CJP protest. Very good. Okay. So, this question was from current issue itself. ठीक है, I hope this question is also clear. Any issue with respect to this question? A direct question, a simple question from the current issue only. Now you just have to justify the statement. Yeah, this question was expected. So they have asked not in a direct form, but indirectly they have mentioned the question. Now they are asking your perspective. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Is it visible? Okay. Now the next question is, in what ways can an Indian administrative officer apply Gandhi's notion of trusteeship to ensure fairness in governance? It's also a direct question. A direct question. From where? From where this question has been asked? From which part of the syllabus? So it's a direct question about Gandhi's trusteeship model. Okay. So here we are seeing the number of times there are, some criticism of government that they are, misusing the funds. Yeah, even private players are misusing their power, or there is an inequality in the society. So this question is from that perspective. Okay. Is it clear? This question, it's a direct question. I think if you know about Gandhiji's trusteeship model, then you can simply answer this question. There's no difficulty in that. Yes, unit 1. Very good. Okay, okay. So I hope this question is also clear. Now the next question is, it is a quotation based question, but this year UPSC is not asked much quotation based questions. Quotation based questions are missing from this particular paper. Okay, so this one is an exception. So it's not a quotation itself, but general statement, but also we can consider it in the quotation based question itself. Okay, so the question is, Shakespeare in Henry IV says the arms are fair when the intent of bearing them is just. So now what is the context of this question from the current? If you have to understand the context, from where this question has been formed or framed, from which issue? Yes, most of the questions are from applied topics, issues that are happening around us. They have provided the context, and then they have linked it with the syllabus of ethics. Recently news came on this perspective based on servant's vehicle. Okay, okay, very good. So what is the context of this question? Why this question has been asked? You are from 8th class. Okay. What are you doing here? Okay. So this question is in context of wars that are happening around. Why a war is justified? So it is with respect to the justification of war. Maybe with respect to Operation Sindoor, if we are discussing about that, how we are justifying the, arms. Sometimes we have to, raise arms to ensure the justice in the society. Like for example, in French Revolution, in American Revolution, people had to raise the arms. Then only they got the justice. Okay. Okay. Need best students. Okay. But here we are discussing about UPSC paper. If you want to, watch the lecture, you can watch it. But it is for the people who are preparing for UPSC. Okay. So this question is with respect to war as well. The context is current issues. Currently, we are witnessing number of wars, and various countries are justifying the war. Even India has conducted Operation Sindoor. So in that context, the question has been asked. Okay. Is it clear? Now let's move to the next question. So the questions, they have changed the pattern. The pattern has been changed, but questions are easy. You can simply, understand the context and you can answer the questions. Okay. Police torture in Jantar Mantar. Very good. Very good. Very good, Sarin. Sometimes, violence when we justify, so it is from that perspective. Sometimes violence is justified to promote the justice in the society. Okay. So it is from that perspective. Now let's move to the next question. Citing the serious adverse effects of long-term medication, a doctor convinces the family of a female patient for surgery. This led the patient to reluctantly consent for the surgery, though her original choice was to opt for medication. So a woman, she didn't want to go for the surgery, but doctor convinced her to go for the surgery. Okay. So for that, in order to, accept the request of the doctor, she convinced that she will go for the surgery, although she didn't want to go for the surgery. Okay. So in this context, they have asked the question, explain the concept of paternalism and beneficence by analysis the doctor's action. So it is a question from bioethics या medical ethics बोल सकते हैं. This question is from medical ethics. Now, if you know the meaning of these two terms, paternalism and beneficence, then you can answer this question. Anyone here who knows the meaning of this term? Yeah, medical ethics. Very good. Yes, you can learn a lot of things from here. Okay. So what is the meaning of paternalism and beneficence? So paternalism simply means these are the concepts that are from the medical ethics. It simply means that where you are taking decision for other person, for third person, without even considering their choice. For example, here the patient, the female patient, she didn't want to go for the surgery, but her autonomy, her freedom of choice was taken by doctor. So here he has used his convincing power to curtail her freedom of choice. That is the simple meaning of paternalism. Beneficence means where you do your duty. You do not, here you ensure the autonomy of the patient as well. Your decision will be based on the patient's will. You are not trying to, force your opinions on the other person. So that is the simple meaning of beneficence. So if you know the meaning of these two terms, then you can simply answer this question. So it is from the medical ethics. Yes, authority limits will. The doctor has that authority. So he limit the will of a patient. Patient who didn't want to go for the surgery. She wanted to go with the medications only. But because that person had the authority, so he limited the will of that person, a choice of that person. So that is the simple meaning of paternalism. Okay? Yes, you can quote Article 21. Her autonomy was curtailed. Her autonomy was, violated. Okay? So I hope this question is also clear. Now let's move to the next question. This question might be a bit tough. Okay? There are people who might not have known about these terms, so it might be a bit difficult, but I think those who know about the terms, or even from the context of the story, you understand the meaning. It is clear here. Yes, that can be quoted. You can quote Article 21. Decisional privacy, okay. Okay. So this question was moderate. It was not that easy, but it was on moderate level if you understand the story, if you understand the context. So based on this particular story or the context, you can definitely solve this question, I believe. Good evening. Okay, now let's move to the next question. Efficiency is doing things right, while effectiveness is doing the right thing. How do you strike a balance between these two enhance productivity? It's a straightforward question. It's a direct question about two terms. So what is the difference between efficiency and effectiveness? They have mentioned here. Now you have to strike the balance to maintain both. Good evening. So this is also a straightforward question. They are asking a difference between efficiency and how we can strike a balance between them. Okay? So you have to just mention how you can strike the balance between efficiency and effectiveness. Is it clear? Can you write answer for this particular question? Any issue with respect to this question? I think it's also an easy question. Efficiency is doing things right with minimal waste, very good. While effectiveness is doing the right thing to achieve the goal. Very good. Because that's a simple meaning. Like if you are doing something, good in a right direction, that is effectiveness. How you are doing that particular thing, how you are minimizing the waste, how you are, optimal utilization of resources, that means efficiency. Okay? Is it clear? So if you know the difference between two terms, then you can show how you can balance between these two issues. Okay? Efficiency means doing things right by using the fewest resources and least waste. Effectiveness means doing certain things, right things to reach your actual goals. Very good, Nilesh. Okay? जब तक देश में शिक्षा के नाम पर आरक्षण okay. चलो, let's move to the next question. I hope this one is clear. Okay. Now let's move to the next question. Usually schools working in remote areas do not fully comply with government regulations. So they are saying usually schools that are working in remote areas, matlab rural areas or some distant places, they are not fully comply with the government regulations. However, if rules are enforced strictly, it would lead to most schools closing down. How should an administrator strike a balance between enforcement of rules and educational rights of children? So what is the context of this question? What is the context of this question? Why this question has been asked? Recently, we have been seeing a number of, issues that have been raised in the public with respect to the health of the various schools. I think when there was a CJP protest, even at that time, school from Chandigarh or maybe some other place, they were asking about, there were no faculties there. People, students from class 10th or 11th, they were referring to the government like how they do not have, basic teachers in their classes. So that issue was there. And even recently, there was a report which highlighted that how number of government schools have been closed by government. So it can also be from that context as well. So it is also a current based topic. Very good. Niti Aayog's report which has mentioned like how schools has been shut down. Very good. So this question has been from that context. It's also from the current issue only. So now they are asking your opinion. For example, this is an issue. You are going to be a public servant. Now they are asking your opinion. What would you do in this particular situation? How will you balance it? We cannot ensure that we need to have proper schools there, but we just don't need the number of schools. We need quality as well. So they are asking how you should maintain the quality and quantity. Both को how to maintain the balance. ठीक है, the question in that context. So you have to give your opinions. How we can balance these two perspectives. Okay, it's like a case study. Very good. Yes, colleges are being closed. Very good. Lack of trained teachers. Very good. Now here you have to give opinions. How we can ensure that ki rules are properly followed, but schools are also not being closed. ठीक है? So this is the context of the question. Thank you. Okay. So I hope this question is also clear. The context is clear and you can mention the reasons, mention the opinions and solutions for this. Educational institution should balance rule enforcement with fairness, inclusive and the overall welfare of students. Very good. Very good. Okay? So I hope this one is clear as well. Lack of transparency and accountability by government. Very good. Merging of schools was in news. Very good. It is also in that context as well. Okay? So the context is in news. So you need to understand why UPSC has been asking these questions. Everything that you are reading in the newspaper, they can ask question on that particular topic. They can link it with the ethical issues. They can link it with the governance structure. They can link it with the governance issues, challenges. So here you have to analyze each and every topic that is in the news from the ethical perspective or governance perspective. Okay? रिमोट एरियाज के लोगों को ही empower करना ताकि वो उन schools में education provide कर सकें. Yes, very good. ठीक है? तो I hope this one is clear. Now let's move to the next question. In international relations, ethical considerations are often subjugated to the strategic interest of the nation states. Discuss this from ethical perspective. So now what is the context of this question? Why UPSC has asked this question? Yes, each and every paper that UPSC has asked this year, now most of the questions are from front only. So if you are reading newspaper daily, if you are reading editorials daily, it will be easy for you to, write answers. Because you know the context, you know why they are asking the question. But apart from that, you need to analyze each and every topic that you read in the newspaper from each and every perspective of the syllabus. For example, if you are reading a particular topic, you have to link it with GS paper 1, you have to link it with GS paper 2, you have to link it with GS paper 3, and you have to link it with GS paper 4. Like how this particular protest, you can link ethical dimensions there. Okay? I hope this one is clear. What is the context of this question? In international relation, ethical considerations are often subjugated to the strategic interest of the nation states. Discuss this from an ethical perspective. So what is the context of this question? Middle East related, very good. There are wars everywhere. So this question is with respect to war. Each and every country, if we are looking around, they are in the situation of war with each other. So this question is from that perspective. So there are 2 or 3 questions with respect to international or war related. One was by Shakespeare's quotation. Other is this, and I think we have also mentioned about war and human rights violation wala. So these all 3 questions are from applied ethics and IR part. War ethics. Okay, I hope this is clear. So 3 of the questions are from the current issues, that is with respect to war. Ma'am, I am reading Hindu newspaper and mostly questions asked from current related all papers. Yes, most of the questions are from current issues only. So that is why it has been said that you should read newspaper daily. Newspaper is the source for you. You don't have to go for different sources, different books. Just read newspaper properly and analyze that from the syllabus perspective. Then you will be able to solve each and every question by your own. National interest tell us what we need, ethics tell us how we should pursue it. Very good. Okay, so you have to mention about these contexts. Yeah, it is with respect to US-Iran war, Russia-Ukraine war, Israel-Palestine war. So the question is from that context, like how national interest is the priority of the state, every state. Okay, so they are justifying war, they are justifying their action based on the national interest, the security of the people, the security of the nation, the sovereignty concept. Okay, so this one is also clear. I hope this is also a straightforward or direct question. Any issue up till here? Okay. Venezuela case study, very good. So it is up to you which case study you want to mention here, which example you want to mention here. I have given you the context. Now you have to mention those statements here. These are the direct questions. Okay, now let's move to the next question. On the request of his personal assistant, the district magistrate stops the transfer of a school teacher who takes private tuition for his daughter diagnosed with learning disability. So there is a case study. It's a case study based question. So they have given you a brief case study. Okay, now they are asking you the question. So in this context, discuss the aspects of empathy versus compliance with the rules. So there are rules that a teacher who is a government teacher, they cannot give private tuitions. Okay, so they are violating the rule. But now there is a, they have linked the emotional angle, which is that particular teacher has a daughter, she has been diagnosed with disability. Now you have to consider the emotional aspect as well, ethical consideration as well. That person might need extra money for the treatment of his daughter. Okay, so this question in that context, you have to, there is a law versus ethics. So discuss the aspect of empathy versus compliance with the rule. So you have to balance the both in your answer. Which one you want to take stand for, or how can you balance both perspectives? Good evening. More Zoom. Okay, so this question is clear. Yeah, it might be difficult to handle unpredictable paper, but you have to maintain your cool in the paper. This is what UPSC has been checking now. As a student, maybe as a public servant, you are going to face number of situations like this. They are preparing you for that only. Okay, so that is why they are asking these unpredictable questions. You need to be prepared. Every year they are going to make change in the paper or in the pattern. You need to be careful with respect to that. Okay, I know that paper might be lengthy because of these case studies. You have to analyze the case study first, then you have to go with the answer. But with practice it will be easy. Ma'am, if we consider Indian Express only and only do important editorials from the Hindu, will it be the right approach? Yes, it will be the right approach. Like, you have to cover at least 2 newspapers for the mains. If you want to prepare for the mains, then you have to refer any 2 newspaper, go with the editorials, read each and every news, use them as an example for your arguments. That will be sufficient for you for the mains. Because most of the questions will come from the current issues only. They will link it from the ethical dimension, they will link it from the political dimension, they will link it with the economical dimension. Okay? So if you are covering current affair properly, then it will be easy for you to at least handle the paper. Yeah, Indian Express is a good newspaper. Even when I was preparing, I used to refer Indian Express only. But for the mains, I used to refer 2 newspapers that were the Indian Express and the Hindu. Yeah, there is a lack of timing. That is why it has been told that you have to practice answer writing. You have to maintain a proper, like, if there are 3 hours, try to complete your paper within 2.45 hours, so that you have 15 minutes extra. So whenever there is a paper like this, unpredictable paper, so you have extra 15 minutes to give that time for the unpredictability, to keep yourself cool, to do the proper brainstorming. Try to increase your speed. That is why answer writing is important. You have to practice answer writing. Okay? Yes, very good, very good. उनकी daughter के diagnosis के लिए you can provide loan. Very good. These are the arguments that you have to give. You have to give innovative arguments by yourself. Do not cram anything that you read here and there. ठीक है? That is for your foundational values. Your foundation will be built based on the concept that you read, but you have to generate your own innovative solutions. That way, because they want a public servant, or they want an aspirant who is using their creativity, who are providing innovative solutions. So you have to provide innovative solutions. ठीक है? So this is a good solution. You can provide that solution in the answer. Very good. ठीक है? Now let's move to the next question. Some moral philosophers argue that spending some of your resources without significantly affecting your financial stability to help other people who badly suffer is our moral duty and not merely a matter of charity. Justify this claim by explaining the distinction between duty and charity. So who has mentioned this concept? Like recently, I think we have discussed the trusteeship model. Trusteeship model says the same thing, no? That has been given by Gandhiji. Like if you are earning much, then you have to keep some money for yourself, and then rest of the money should be given for the public service. ठीक है? You can also mention the Gandhiji's trusteeship model here. ठीक है? And then they are asking you to justify this claim by explaining the distinction between duty and charity. So you have to mention the difference between, what is the difference between duty and charity, but the context is how you are utilizing the resources. It is in that context. So it is not only about duty and charity, but you have to link that with the context as well. So the context is with respect to how you are utilizing your resources. Okay, is it clear? PSIR, very good. Yes, a practical approach. This year they have changed the pattern. They are using case studies because they want somebody who is not cramming the knowledge. Like for example, if they are asking direct questions, that simply means you are cramming. Your arguments will be same. Everybody will write the same argument. But if they are going to give the case study based question, then you are going to utilize your own mind. ठीक है? They want those kind of people in the service who are going to use their critical thinking, who are going to use their logical thinking. That is what they are expecting out of you. That is why there is a change in the pattern. Every year they are changing pattern because they don't want a person who has been cramming things and coming well prepared, doing these things. They want a person, if you are facing certain situation which might be unexpected, how you are going to handle that situation. Because this pattern is difficult for each and every person. Nobody is prepared for this particular, pattern. Nobody knew that UPSC is going to ask this. But if you're prepared, if you are mentally calm, if you are having that strength, if you are using your logical reasoning, or you are not just cramming the paper or the content, then you will be able to handle the paper easily. Okay? Is it clear? Very good, Kamran. Charity is obligatory for a human being human. For a human being human. Okay, ठीक है. It's not obligatory, but it's a maybe choice. It's a something that you can do out of empathy, out of the values that you hold. Okay? Is it clear? This question is clear? Shall we proceed? Because after that we are going to cover the case studies only. We are not going to discuss them. I'm just going to have a brief overview of the case study, what has been changed, what is okay, the pattern. Okay, now let's move to the next part, which is the section B. I think section A is clear. There is a little change in the pattern with respect to section A. So what are the changes? They are asking context based question or case study based questions. Most of the direct questions from the conventional topics have been missed. For example, they have not asked question on attitude, they have not asked question on emotional intelligence. Okay, most of the questions are based on the current issues only. Okay, there is no question on quotations, which was a theme earlier. Every year we used to have 3 questions from the quotations itself, but this year hardly a 1 question. Okay, so there is a change in the pattern in the section A. Now let's move to the section B. What are the changes that UPSC has introduced in the section B of the paper? So here the case studies are shorter in length. Earlier the case studies used to be very lengthy. This year the case studies are shorter in length and the number of questions has also been decreased. Earlier they used to ask 3 or 4 questions. This year there are hardly 2 questions in each case study, and case studies are bit, not that lengthy. Yes, just theory cramming is not going to work in your mains preparation, even in the UPSC. And UPSC doesn't want somebody who's been cramming only. They want somebody who use their analytical thinking. They use their own brain. They use they use innovative solutions. They want to make change in the society. Okay? We will discuss about that later on. First, let's try to, decode the paper. Okay? So the case studies they have changed. The case studies are basically same. Okay? Just the length has been reduced and question number have been reduced. Here the case studies, I think let's discuss first case study, and rest I think you will see by yourself, because there is not much change. Let's just understand the context. So the first case study is with respect to Lata, a mother of 2 children, was admitted to a hospital for a acute abdominal pain. Her sister-in-law Sujata accompanied her. Her masi, मतलब इसमें simple the case study is with respect to there is a patient. She was facing a critical situation where her uterus had to be removed because she has been diagnosed with a particular problem. But she was under a anesthesia. So the doctor asked her sister-in-law or whoever, sister-in-law. So the sister-in-law gave the consent that you can remove her uterus to save her life. But that patient was in the anesthesia condition and she didn't give her she didn't give her consent. So here the issue is when the patient got to know that her uterus has been removed without her consent. So she felt betrayed. So she approached the court. So here the context of the theme is that recently there is a question also, na, paternalism and beneficence. This question is same line. Okay, it is also with respect to medical ethics in the same context. Here the doctor has convinced the patient's guardian. Then the women has taken the decision for the women who was in the operation theatre without her consent. So now that women want to approach the Supreme Court. Okay? So she wants to approach the court for the violation of her right. So this is a general case study. So now they are asking discuss the ethical issues involved. What are the issues involved in this particular case study? Discuss the moral conduct of a doctor in this situation. Now they are asking the conduct of the doctor. How she is wrong, how she is right. You have to justify her stance, the decision that she has taken. Okay, so the question is with respect to medical ethics. Okay, I'll tell you, Swastik, how to prepare. But first, let's discuss this paper. Okay, so let's move to the next case study. I hope this one is clear. The context of the case study. It is from the medical ethics where there are, asking the ethical issues involved in the particular case and what is the responsibility of the doctor and how doctor's decision has been. You have to justify doctor's decision. Yeah, ethical dilemma has been there. Okay, so this one is clear. Now there is a other question, other case study, which is Ravi is a senior police officer. This case study is with context to the recent protest that happened in the Jantar Mantar, where the police has utilized the biometric details. So they have made the same case study. The context has been changed, but it is more or less from that context only. Because here the police has utilized the biometric details of the protesters, and using that they have made the criminal cases against them. So the case study is in that perspective only. Ravi is a senior police officer with a vast experience in riot control and cyber policing. Since 1 year, he has been superintendent of police of a district with a history of frequent rioting. Last year, Ravi had sought installation of AI-enabled software or predictive policing. This system has been operational for approximately 6 months. This new system employs advanced algorithm for capturing the biometric data of the person in a crowd and swiftly relating it to a data library. This has enabled the police to identify the persons involved in various crimes. The system has identified an immigrant and low-income neighborhood as a center of gang violence and drug trafficking. Aided by this AI analysis, the local police has focused its patrolling, preventing detention, and establishing checkposts. So this is the case studies. So the context is with respect to the recent protest, where the police has also utilized the biometric details or AI. They have utilized the AI glasses to identify the people who were involved in the violent activities in the protest. So it is from that perspective. Yes, you can do polity and ethics parallelly. You have to give proper time to both the papers. Yes, personal choice versus professional decision. Okay, Shafaq, in what context you are asking? Yeah, right to privacy. It is with respect to right to privacy of the people and also maintaining the law and order situation. Okay, they have to maintain the law and order situation as well, because it has reduced the crime rate significantly, but it has been violating the right to privacy of the people, right to live with dignity, right to live with without fear. Now they are living with fear that their information can be misused by police or maybe government authorities. So this particular case study is in that context. So they have asked two questions. What are the ethical issues including biasness involved in the use of AI in the data-driven policing? Place yourself in Ravi's role and discuss the alternative available. Justify actions that optimize compliance. Now you have to provide the alternatives instead of this, but using this technology, what are the other options available with the Ravi that you have to mention? So they are asking your solutions. Okay, right to privacy, very good case, Puttaswamy judgment. When to start newspaper reading to attend 2028? We will discuss it after the session. Okay, I'm just going to end this here only. Okay, then we can I will take 2 or 3 of your doubts and then we are going to end the session. Okay. Okay, personal choice versus professional decision with respect to first case study. Okay, very good, Shafaq. Okay. So is this case study clear? This second one, it is with respect to the recent protest and how police has been utilizing the how police has been utilizing the technology or artificial intelligence. So this one is clear now, this case study. Now let's move to the next case study. Okay, so Seema is a senior bureaucrat with the reputation of honesty and a professional efficiency. She has recently been posted as a district collector to Surendranagar, where a large industrial area is being established. The new industrial area has caused many farmers to submit applications for change of land use to convert their farmland into resident areas. There is an unusually large backlog of these applications awaiting processing. Seema noticed that some applications had been approved selectively with no visible chronological pattern. The case files showed a few complaints of some approval being subjected to receipt of large bribes from the applicant. So it is a simple case study with respect to public administration, where they are approving the certain cases based on the bribes. They are taking bribes, so it is a case of corruption. So this particular case study with respect to the corruption and misuse of the public authority. Okay, so there is an official, she has been posted there, so she has got to know about this particular issue and she has been taking action for that. So they are asking question in that context. So what are the ethical issues involved in this case study? So you have to find the ethical issues. What are the issues? First is the corruption, second is the misuse of the public authority, public resources. Okay, so this way you have to analyze the issues that are involved in this particular case study. Okay, and then they are asking discuss the options open to Seema, identify the recommended options and justify that. Now they are asking कि Seema के पास क्या क्या options है. You have to mention those options that are available to Seema, and then you have to justify them as well. You have to give their pros and cons. Which option is better and why this option is better and what are the cons with respect to that particular decision. Okay, is it clear? Vivek, I'll take your question after this. Okay, very good. It is related to accountability and transparency in the system or misuse of the public authority. Ma'am, how to figure out which article in the editorial segment of the newspaper is to be read? That will come with, so if you have a proper understanding of the syllabus, first you have to read the UPSC syllabus. When you read the syllabus, you get to know what kind of questions that UPSC has been asking. Two things that you have to use. First you need to read the previous year questions. Second, you need to read the syllabus of the UPSC. Once you are thorough with the syllabus and the previous year questions, you get to know the kind of questions that UPSC asks and what are the areas that you have to cover for your preparation. Then you get to know what are the areas that you have to read in the newspaper, which editorial that you have to read. Most of the political issues that are with respect to political issues about a particular political person or a particular political leader, you don't have to read those topics. Okay, UPSC doesn't ask questions from those issues. If there is a social issues with respect to reservation issue has been there is an issue with respect to women empowerment, those issues you have to cover. So most of the issues, most of the topics that have been mentioned in the syllabus, you have to cover those topics from the editorials. Okay, an honest officer must find a way to dismantle a corrupt bribery network in her new department without disrupting daily public service or causing. Very good Sandeep. ठीक है. ठीक है, so is this particular case study is clear? Okay, thank you, Shafaq. Okay, so I hope this one is clear as well. Now let's move to the next case study. We just have to understand the context. So when we get to know the context, then it is easy for us to, you know, crack the answers for the questions. Now let's move to the next case study. Okay, so the next case study is Vikas is a government officer. Is it visible? Okay. Okay. Vikas is a government officer with over a decade of service in public administration. He has recently moved as a district collector of Nainipura, a remote hilly district bordering a forest. Due to Nainipura's low level of economic development, one of his major duties is to ensure proper functioning of the public distribution system among the economically weaker section. So he is an officer. He has been transferred somewhere where he has to look for the पब्लिक डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर सिस्टम. ठीक है, वो हमारा पीडीएस सिस्टम होता है ना, उसके बारे में उनको देखना है विद रिस्पेक्ट टू इकोनॉमिकली वीकर सेक्शन. ठीक है, ड्यूरिंग हिज ऑन साइट विजिट विकास वाज अप्राइज्ड, ही वाज इन्फॉर्म्ड, अप्राइज्ड मतलब ही वाज इन्फॉर्म्ड ऑफ अ टिपिकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव चैलेंज इन ऑपरेटिंग द पीडीएस. ठीक है, टू प्रिवेंट लीकेजेस ऑल द डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर्स वर रिक्वायर्ड टू कैरी आउट रियल टाइम बायोमेट्रिक आइडेंटिफिकेशन ऑफ द बेनिफिशरीज हुज फिंगरप्रिंट्स वर टैलीड विद द identity card and records. For abhi recently government has changed na ki if you have to take food from the PDS system, you have to give your biometric details. So this is the issue with respect to this particular case study. Most of the fingerprints are not matching there. So this has been causing the issue. So this is the concern. This was creating problem as the operating system sometimes rejected fingerprints matching in the cases of growing children, manual laborers and senior citizens. Because of growing age, your fingerprints change. So this is also causing the problem because those fingerprints are not matching and people are not taking the benefit of the schemes. So the problem was further compounded in a period of low Wi-Fi connectivity. There is also issue of low Wi-Fi connectivity, like rural area do not have proper digital connectivity. The distributors in such cases resorted to personal discretion when they could identify the recipient. Now the people who are distributing these resources, they are using their personal discretion. जिसको उनका मन कर रहा है उसको जाके resources दे रहे हैं. ठीक है, so they are using their personal discretion. Vikas has to address this problem on priority. Strictly adhering to government regulation would ensure fiscal probity but would greatly trouble the proposed beneficiary, that is EWS. It may even impinge on their fundamental rights to life as per the Article 21 of the Constitution. Conversely, leaving the resolution solely to the discretion of the distributor could lead to the misuse of and leakages. For example, now he has to make sure that how those people are not misusing their power. ठीक है, now because they are using their power discretionary, जिनको मन कर रहा है they are giving benefits to them. So now he has to solve the problem. He has to balance the situation, like how he have to because there is a biometric detail issue as well, because things are not matching. The biometric details are not matching there. So that is also the issue. Second is low connectivity has been there. Third is the public services servants are not properly doing their job. They are using their discretion to give benefits to the people they want to. So this is the issue. This is the whole case study. Now they are asking what are the options open to Vikas. Now what are the options available for Vikas? What are the things that he can do? How should he balance fiscal probity with empathy toward the designated beneficiaries? Because कुछ beneficiaries हैं, वो benefit ही नहीं ले पा रहे हैं. So that is also the issue. So how can he balance it? Discuss the ethics of using technology as a gatekeeper of the welfare scheme. So there is an issue with respect to technology as well. So now they are asking the question, what are the ethical issues of utilizing the technology for social justice or social welfare schemes? So this is the context of the case study. Is it clear? Yes, it is also a current affair issue where there were issue with respect to biometric identification. This case study highlights the conflict between strictly following technology rules versus serving poor people for hunger, and also the misuse of power by the public authority, like they are using their discretion. So that has also been creating the problem. Very good. Misuse of power and corruption, issue of bribe issue and discrimination related, also technology related aspect as well. Empty versus adherence to rule of law. Very good. Instead of fingerprint, retina scanning can be used. Yeah, you can give that as a solution. Very good. Good administrator must combine technological efficiency with human empathy and constitutional values, ensuring that administrative procedure serve citizen rather than becoming barrier. Very good. Thank you, Rajesh. Okay, so this one is also clear now, this case study. Technology is future of humans, nothing else. Very good. So you can, these are your arguments. You can give those arguments. You have to justify those arguments. Whatever argument that you have to give, you have to justify that. But in ethics paper, you have to also keep in mind that you have to, go for ethical values. Okay, you have to balance those values. You cannot take rule and law in your hand. Rule of law. Okay, you cannot over suppressing the values as well. You have to give consideration to the people who need those benefits. So you have to balance those things. You have to follow rule of law. You have to also follow the empathy and the ethical values in promoting the justice. Okay, is it clear? A district collector must resolve a welfare crisis where faulty biometric technology is denying essential food rations to poor remote citizens, balancing strict rules. Very good, Sandeep. Okay, so I hope this one is also clear. Now let's move to the next case study. Okay, you have to identify the options, what are the options available, and then you have to mention the issues with respect to the technology and provide the solution, how we can effectively use the technology. Okay, now let's move to the next case study. Rajapuram is a border district. Jhara and Biru, its two major communities, are in the continual conflict with each other. The social fabric is fractured and demands mending. Ethical tensions between two communities have erupted into violence, resulting into a large number of deaths. The stated cause are conflicting land claims, uneven resources allocation, and inadequate political representation in the government bodies. Separate relief funds or camps have had to be created for the two communities. The situation is volatile and appears to be getting out of control. Rajan has been appointed the district magistrate of Rajapuram and tasked to quickly get the situation under control. So this situation is generally with respect to the two ethnic communities who are fighting with each other. If we go to the Manipur situation, there are also two ethnic communities who are fighting with each other. So it is a case study in that context only. The situation has changed slightly. They have changed the context slightly, but it is with respect to that only, like how there is a right like situation, how two communities are fighting with each other. Now it is up to you how you have to control the situation. So it is in that context, how you have to maintain the law and order and peace in the particular region. Okay, so the question is, discuss the ethical issues that need to be addressed in this case study. So you have to find the ethical issues. Then you have to find what are the options open to Rajan. Now Rajan is the district administrator there. So they're asking like what are the options that are available to you. So you have to consider yourself as a Rajan. You are a district administrator. Now what are the options available to you? If you face certain situation, how you are going to handle the situation. Okay? So what are the options open to Rajan? Which option would ensure protection to the non-partisan image without the compromising ethic? Now you have to show like you do not have to show your biasness. You might favor one particular community, that might impact this other community. So you have to show unbiased approach. You have to use a balanced approach where you look for both the benefit of both the communities. Okay, because your main purpose is to ensure the peace and law and order in that particular region. Yes ma'am. Okay, injustice those who do not get benefit. Thank you, Kamran. Okay. Now let's move to the next case study because we have limited time. I have to end this session by 7:30 only. Okay. So this is the last case study. So this case study is with respect to Ajit. He's working in the Department of Defense. So there are two. So in India, we know that our Make in India project has been working very nicely, and number of countries has been asking for the weapons from India, like Philippines, Vietnam. They are asking for weapons from India. So they have given the same context here. Like one country, there are two countries. They want to have a defense deal with India. They want to import the weapons from India. Now that Ajit is the head of that department, now he have to make the choice which country he want to give those weapons, because we have limited weapons. We cannot provide weapons to both the countries. Now there are two situations. Now he have to analyze which country they want to give the weapon. So they have given pros and cons of two countries. First country, it's also a developing country. Both countries are developing countries, but first country, they are providing, they are taking long term weapons. Like they are saying that we want large number of weapons, but we will take that on loan. We can only provide you the loan. ठीक है, हम आपको डायरेक्ट पैसा नहीं दे सकते, हम लोन लेंगे, उस बेसिस पे आपको पैसा देंगे. There is a second case study where they are saying that country is ready to provide you the money. Like उनको वेपन कम चाहिए बट वो पैसा दे रहे हैं डायरेक्टली आपको. So these are the two aspects. There are number of other aspects that they have mentioned कि this particular second country, they also have a trade deal with with a developed country, maybe like a USA or something like that. So they are giving you benefits here. So they are showing two situations where, and here you have to analyze which one is beneficial for you, for your country. Okay, so there are two situations. Now you have to choose one country based on the context that they have given. Okay, so what are the questions? So question is, discuss the options available to Ajit. Which option should he select and why? How can Ajit balance nation's economic and strategic interest with ethical consideration? So here Ajit has to decide. He has to decide which country he wants to give the benefit, or with which country he want to have a trade deal with respect to the defense weapons. So this is the journal about the case study. I hope this one is also clear to you. Neutrality, very good. He has to maintain neutrality. Good evening. We both have same name. Impartiality and biasness in the eternal duty of a human being, very good. Choosing whether to sell weapon to peaceful country A or controversial country B, very good Sandeep. ठीक है, so you have to read the context, you have to analyze which country is beneficial for India, because here when we are giving weapon to some country, we have to look for our national interest as well, instead of just looking for the economic benefits. We cannot sell weapon to Pakistan, ठीक है, so we have to consider those things in mind as well, ठीक है. So when while writing answer to these case studies, we have to consider each and every aspect in our options that we have, ठीक है. Yes Vivek, what is your question? Very good Sareen. मतलब two communities में you have to maintain the balance approach, ठीक है. There's no benefit. It's just that you will have greater values if you are starting with ethics. Ethics is very easy. Like it's more like a vocabulary. There are number of the syllabus is very small. It's very limited. You can cover it within 1 month itself. Okay, you don't need to give much time for the ethics. That is why ethics is beneficial if you want to start your preparation. There's no other, I think, reason for that. Also, it makes you a better person. It makes you to understand whether you are ready for the public services. Okay, so that is the only reason for the ethics. Hanji Vivek, what is your question? I'm sorry, I didn't see the question. So with this, our questions are completed. So let's have a basic first impression that we have got from this whole paper. So the thing is, shift in the code-based questions. Questions now focus more on the views of implication, like we have discussed. Most of the questions are context-based, case study-based questions. So there are very less direct questions. Hardly, I think, 2 questions that we have seen were direct in nature. Most of the questions were context-based and case study-based. Okay? Which they have mentioned. 6 mini case study based questions have been asked, which we have discussed, ठीक है, with respect to PhD scholar, ठीक है, how he has used the AI, ठीक है, and then we have discussed about that forest right wala, ठीक है. Now the next is direct questions on traditional topics like AI probability were missing. Case studies are comparatively shorter in length, and 2 questions in case studies. Earlier they used to have 3 to 4 questions, so case studies used to be very lengthy. It was very difficult to cover the paper. But this year the case studies are shorter in length. They're easy to understand, like we have discussed now. They're very easy to understand. So case studies are shorter this time. And questions are also limited. Questions on technology related ethical dilemma. 2 questions are on, these questions were there. Most of the questions were with respect to technology and medical ethics, applied ethics were there. Okay? So this year the paper was focused more on the applied ethics part, instead of cramming or having a direct questions. They're asking you application based questions, real issue based questions. They're the things that are happening around us, issues that are happening around us. So they're asking for your views from the ethical perspective or from ethical lens. Okay, so the paper was easy, but it was more like a application based. It was unconventional in the sense because questions were not direct in nature. But if you have read those foundational concepts, so it will be easy for you to I think at least attempt this paper. All of you who have not given the mains, try to attempt this paper. Try to write your answers, have a proper structure, have a proper flow, and that will help you to understand how was the paper. Okay, whether you are able to cover that paper in 3 hours or not. Okay, I believe that paper was not lengthy in that sense with respect to case studies, but yes, section A was little lengthy because it was because of the change of pattern only. Apart from that, paper was, I think, moderate or on the easier side. So what are your opinion? बट वी ऑल्सो हैव टू लुक कि जिस कंट्री को हम अपने वेपन दे रहे हों वो किसी चीज़ के लिए यूज़ कर रहे हैं. हाँ, दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट वी हैव टू लुक फॉर ना, लाइक इफ दे आर यूजिंग इट इन रॉन्ग वे देन वी हैव टू वी कैन नॉट इम्पोर्ट वेपन्स टू दोज कंट्रीज और एक्सपोर्ट वेपन्स टू दोज कंट्रीज. ठीक है, वेरी गुड. USA Israel Iran conflict between, very good. How to start ethics? You have to cover the syllabus. First read the syllabus of ethics, then start with the topics itself. Okay. Hello. I think this question paper is made by medical college professor. It might be because most of the questions were from medical part as well or technology aspect. Paper was easy. Like it is difficult to write, paper because in 3 hours it is difficult to, write that much content in your answers. But if you see the paper, it was on a easier side. It was not a difficult paper. Detailed answer session will be taken after 2 or 3 days. Team will let you know. ठीक है, and we will have a detailed discussion with proper model answers. There we will have a proper discussion on this particular paper. This was just a brief discussion, like we just had to check the type of the questions that UPSC has asked, how the trend has changed, how the trend has shifted. So those things we have covered here. I hope this session is this particular paper is clear to you. The things that we have discussed are clear to you. Now I have to conclude the session. Before that, I just want to tell you about SRIJAN batch. This particular batch covers both prelims and mains. If you want to prepare for your UPSC and you want to, just buy a single batch for both your, mains and prelims preparation, then you can go with the SRIJAN batch. Okay, it starts from 2nd September, so you can enroll in this particular batch. So these are number of toppers who have enrolled in this particular batch and they have benefited out of it. So you can check more details from here only. You can scan this particular QR code. This will give you a detailed information about this particular batch. And if you have any other question, you can ask the team. They will help you with respect to that. So it's totally up to you. Okay, you can enroll in this particular batch if you want to prepare for the UPSC. Okay. So if you have any other doubt, you can ask me. I'll just have 5 minutes and then I'll wind up this session. Yes, I will teach ethics. I don't know about Praram batch, but I'll teach ethics. Sure, I'll take a session on how to read the case study question fast during examination. Okay. Okay, I hope things are clear to you. Okay. All the best. Bye. Take care and try to write these answers. Okay. Very good. You can be an IAS officer. You just have to start your preparation. Okay. Chalo, all the very best. I hope things are clear to you. Chalo. Okay. Bye.